This is WGRG 100.5 FM, where we meet the absolute minimum FCC broadcasting standards. It's time to hang on and brace yourself for a community radio program that's frankly indescribable. Let's talk Geneseo. Two guys with nothing better to do on a Friday morning but to talk about our community. Geneseo City Administrator Brandon Meglin and City Alderman Keith Kennett. And yeah, nobody, and I mean nobody, puts the blah in blah, blah, blah like these guys do.
Well, good morning, Brandon, and good morning, listeners. You're listening to, I was going to say WKRP. We were just talking about that off air a little bit, but welcome to WGRG 100.5 FM in Geneseo for this Friday edition of Let's Talk Geneseo. And yeah, you know, we got kind of chatty before the show and realized there's a few things to get done here before we start. So a little bit of a rugged beginning to the program after our 2-week vacation, Brandon.
Yeah. School was closed, spring break, so we try to follow that schedule, and we'll probably stick with that. I mean, I guess we're kind of wrapping up our season here. We're going to get through May, and then it will be summer break for the radio program?
I think that is the plan, and but we'll see. You know, we have a lot of discretion, Brandon, on just what our schedule will be. But hopefully, in the summer, we won't have an every week thing, but maybe once a month, or maybe we'll rely on our fine listeners and viewers to give some input on if maybe they need a vacation from us also. You know, whatever might be most appropriate for the situation. But
maybe some special event broadcasts from some of the big summer events.
Could always break out the remote gear.
Yeah.
You know, we were talking a little bit earlier with Tyler, one of our guests, not to give away our show a little bit, but his brother Zach would be familiar with some of the remote gear here at the radio station, so he can maybe head back to the donut shop or somewhere, maybe do the Scooters drive-through.
Yeah, maybe even the Central Bank Pavilion.
Anytime, day, night, is the place to be, is that Central Bank Pavilion.
Yeah.
Maybe we spend a day with Brett Decker at Central Bank. You could pull back the curtain and say, just what does Brett do all day? We're not sure. And then we'd find out, well, probably not much.
Do we know if he has it on this morning, you guys?
I don't know.
I'm not sure. Okay.
He was part of the process of getting this whole thing started, so I'm pretty sure right now he's staying as far away as possible from the radio station. But we should do I think we're having some sort of like a 20-year reunion or something, some thought. I need to think back on how long we've been doing this since we created the radio station, but maybe get the original three amigos, Kurt Ford, Brett Decker, Keith Kennett, back. And they are, sometimes you hear in the station ID, not to ramble, but the Geneseo Community Radio Group, this large, massive, not-for-profit organization that is the parent company of WGRG. And that's basically the three of us, as long as Kurt keeps filing whatever he files every year. And that's kind of the corporate structure to it. But a long story there. But nonetheless, Brandon, I will stop rambling so that you can introduce two very fine and fun guests that we have on the program this morning.
Yep, so we've kind of been alluding to it here in some of our pre-talk, but we have Tyler Mackey and April Davis both in this morning, both from Central Bank, but here to talk about two different things that are kind of bank associated and not in ways. So going to start with Tyler this morning. You know, to get started, Tyler, we love to put everybody on the spot the first time they're on the program. I'm sure it won't be your last time here, but first time for both of you guys. So kind of give us your history here in Geneseo. I mean, you're from Geneseo, right?
Yep.
How did you get started here? What do you do now in the community?
Yeah, so I was raised in Geneseo and went to Geneseo High School. Actually, real quick off that, we were talking off air, but our friends and I used to have a radio show in this time slot back in high school. So for 3 years, my brother, which Keith mentioned before, which he would probably be back this summer and could help if needed on some of that. He probably... I don't know if he'll love that I'm throwing his name out there for all these tasks, but
I think he knows pretty much not to answer any communication from me.
no,
So
you
I'll have Brandon get a hold of him.
No, Keith helped Zach get his start, so he owes you. But yeah, we had a lot of fun in this room. It's nice to see it. It's a little revamped since then. But anyways, just a little bit about me. Again, graduated from Geneseo High School, and then went on to the University of Iowa. Got a finance degree, and then came back to work at Central Bank in the trust department, and I've been there almost 5 years, and kind of got some schooling in trust and got my certified financial planner. So yeah, it's a little background on me, I guess.
Excellent. April, why don't we just jump right into your introduction here?
All right. I not from Geneseo, but moved to Geneseo probably about 9 years ago. Started working at Central Bank. Actually, my first job was as the finance assistant for Brett Decker. And then about 3 years ago, I moved into the marketing role. So I am the marketing officer for the bank. And yeah, so I've been there 7 years. So
How'd you switch over to marketing?
I had a little bit of yeah.
It's just sitting there. It's because she was working with Brett.
Oh, he's inspiration for a lot of things.
Yeah.
apparently.
To find a different department.
Well, when I went to the bank, I didn't have any finance background, so that was new for me, especially in banking. And I had some marketing background, so I had worked for a previous company that did some marketing. So I had marketing background before I had the finance background, so that's kind of how I moved into that role.
Nice. Okay. Well, so beyond Tyler's day job, I guess you would say at the bank, part of what you do is also manage some of the foundation work here in Geneseo. And we talk about it a lot on this program, that we're really fortunate in Geneseo that we have two major charitable foundations that, I'll let you get into the mission, but really I think it's fair to say the mission is to support things that are going on and benefit the community as a whole, right? So we wanted Tyler to be here primarily to talk about the Geneseo Foundation and the Miller Foundation that have really supported a lot of big things in the past few years here. So, maybe we can start by getting into the Geneseo Foundation and then transition to the Miller. How did both of them get started, and what is the mission right now for both of those?
Yeah, no. So in 1961, George Dedrick left $1 million in his estate plan to establish what he called the Geneseo Foundation. And Brandon, you hit on it. His hope was to benefit the community of Geneseo and surrounding areas. So again, back when he established it, it was $1 million, and with it being a private foundation, you have to distribute 5% of the market value, average market value over the year. So at that time, that was $50,000. That has grown substantially since 1961, and some of that is credit to the market, right? The market's been great throughout that time. But also a majority of that is from the community, the generosity from the community, people leaving money in their estate plan to the Geneseo Foundation, or we'll probably jump into this a little bit later, but creating scholarships under the Geneseo Foundation. Some people don't realize that, but there's a lot of scholarships that have been created under the Geneseo Foundation. So that's, I guess, the board, just for the background of that, Mr. Dedrick established that the board of directors of Central Bank would also act as the board of managers for the Geneseo Foundation. And, a little bit about our role in the trust department at Central Bank. Our job is to administer the foundation. Some people don't realize this, but we try to be clear that when you meet with myself or Mike Kelly, we're not actually voting on the grants. We're just trying to get a better understanding of what your grant is, because ultimately we're going to be the ones that is presenting this to the board, and also a lot of questions occasionally come up. So the more we can understand and maybe meet with you before you submit a grant, oftentimes the better for the whole process.
Nice. And how about the Miller Foundation? It's a little bit newer, correct?
Yeah. So this was created under the Betty Miller estate plan, and it's called the Francis G. and Betty J. Miller Foundation. Actually, the first distribution was given in 2021. So we just surpassed the first 5 years of the foundation being open. So we're all caught up on distributions and. I guess a little bit of background on Betty. Her and Francis were farmers just outside of town, and Betty did a lot with the hospital and really wanted to support, Mr. Dedrick, the Geneseo and surrounding areas, but also with emphasis on maybe some more vocational and scholarships as well. So Betty was a volunteer at the hospital. Just trying to keep that in mind as the board is managing all these grant applications that come in. The philosophies are very similar, but the board of managers is actually different on the Miller Foundation. In her estate plan, her wishes were that any bank with a physical presence in Geneseo would have a member on the board for the Miller Foundation, and then one community member. So we hit Farmers, Union Federal, Blackhawk, Central Bank, and then we also have Mark Breeden on the board, who was Betty's farm manager at Hertz. I think that kind of hits the highlights of it, but it's a newer foundation, like you mentioned. And again, one more time, the first distribution was actually made recently in 2021.
Okay. Yeah, so both of these, including the Miller Foundation, have already done some big work in the community. Can you highlight some of that? I know that, the city, the police department have benefited greatly already from a couple of things from the Miller Foundation and, of course, the Geneseo Foundation. Of course, what sticks out in my mind as the most recent thing was the landing area down at Oakwood and State. We were, the city was awarded a grant to get that project really off the ground. The primary financing came from a grant from the Miller Foundation to do most of the work that you see down there today, which is still ongoing this spring. But are there any other projects that you can highlight that maybe the foundation's been proud of supporting thus far?
Yeah, I guess a couple here that come to mind. Freedom House. Freedom House just recently brought an office to Geneseo. So supporting that capital project, both the Geneseo and Miller Foundation supported that and has supported Freedom House for a number of years. It's a great organization, great leadership there too. They do a lot of great things for the community. So that was one capital project that they helped on. The Friends of the Hennepin Canal. I don't know if you've heard of this group.
Yep.
Again, a very ambitious group with Todd Seaman and plenty of others as well. But basically their goal and mission is to clean up the Hennepin Canal and make sure it's a resource for our community. And so they need a lot of equipment and some manpower and so forth. So again, both foundations have supported those projects as well, help them buy equipment to basically maintain that Hennepin Canal. And then since we're in the high school, I should notate that both foundations gave to the vocational building across the street here, which I don't know if you guys have been in there, but it looks fantastic. It's very neat seeing, I graduated from Geneseo in 2015, and just the advances that we have on the vocational side is pretty impressive. So yeah, I gave to the vocational, and then I guess the last one that really sticks out to me, and there's so many on here, I could talk the whole time about this, but the hospital had a lab renovation. Coming out of COVID, they realized that they had some inefficiencies, and so just kind of trying to redesign that and add new items as well. So both foundations supported a lab renovation there as well.
Excellent. Excellent. So tell us about, you kind of touched on it briefly earlier, but there are scholarship opportunities. Is that through both foundations, or how should folks look into that, and what are they for?
Yeah. So first off, what I'm about to talk about, these are on the Geneseo High School's website. With the students know where to find these. I guess it's some sort of portal out there for the scholarships. But with the Geneseo Foundation, there's 20 $10,000 scholarships available, and kind of how those work is each semester you get 1/8 of that scholarship. And students have to bring in their grades and show that they're enrolled for the next semester. So basically, we know that you're getting sufficient grades and that you're staying enrolled with the classes. But 20 scholarships there. But then there's various other scholarships under the Geneseo Foundation, like I talked about before. One example, a lot of people in town know Chris Heath. That was one where community members and some of his former classmates, basically got donations and created this scholarship, and each year they give out a scholarship. It's called the Chris Heath Scholarship, but that's another one that falls under the Geneseo Foundation. So, and then with the Miller Foundation, this one is a little bit more unique. There's five $10,000 scholarships to students pursuing a college education, and then 5 $4,000 technical scholarships out there. So students trying to go for vocational school, technical, trades, something like that. We're still trying to gain traction on that one because it's kind of unique. Usually at scholarship night, it's always just kids going to college. But Betty, again, was a big advocate for vocational studies. And so, to meet her wishes and her estate plan, she wanted 20 to 25% of scholarships, of the distribution to be scholarships. So it's a big push for us to try to get kids, get awareness, I guess, of the vocational scholarship opportunities out there as well. And then the Miller is also supported with the new vocational building. They're taking more technical classes, and they can actually get college credit or certifications through Blackhawk. So we partnered with the high school and have supported some of these students. I think it's like $500 to take a Blackhawk class in high school, and it's $1,000 to take that same class outside of high school once you graduate. There's some significant savings there, and it's one way to help out the vocational students.
And these would be available only to Geneseo High School seniors. Is that for both of them? Yeah,
graduating high school seniors as of right now. I don't want to commit to it elsewhere outside of that, but there could be opportunity, I guess, in the medical field outside of that. We've at least explored options with that too.
Okay. All right. Well, appreciate you coming in to talk about that, Tyler. Anything else that you wanted to mention on the foundations today?
Yeah. Just real quick, how you can find out more information. If you go to www.geneseofoundation.org, you'll obviously be able to find some history, and you'll be able to find the grant application as well out there. I'm always a resource, as well as Mike Kelly, who we're located at the Financial Center on Route 6 at Central Bank, Illinois. And then the Miller Foundation, the website is coming soon. I'm actually working with our marketing officer.
All right.
I got to get back to her on that. So we should have something out soon on that. But again, I'm a resource, I guess, if you have any questions out there.
Excellent. Thank you. We're going to toss it over to April now. April's been waiting patiently in the wings here of the studio to talk about the Central Bank Pavilion. Wanted to have April come in. She was instrumental in really during the COVID times when this whole pavilion concept kind of got fired up, right? It started really as an eating area for local establishments around the lot on State Street. Kind of around the bar district there. So Why don't we? Can you give us the history? How did it start? I mean, what inspired Central Bank to say we're going to use our parking lot as this area during this difficult time?
Yeah. Like Brandon said, in 2020, there was a suggestion of using the parking lot just so the restaurants that we have around there, the restaurants and bars, excuse me, could still be open and still serve their customers. And so we thought it was a great idea. It was a great way for us to get involved and help them out. So we put partnered with the city and some others, and we put picnic tables out the first year. I think that's all we did in 2020. We just kind of put some, so people could come out and eat, or just be outside and socialize. Sorry. I got it.
Yeah, and remembering back to that time, I mean, remember that during a significant period of time, you couldn't go into any of the establishments.
Right. Yeah. So it was really nice to be able to have that option still, and still be able to like communicate and talk to people and that type of thing. So that was our first year. Well, then after we did that, I thought it would be kind of cool if we just maybe continued it. I think during COVID, we all got used to like being outside and having those areas. So we decided in 2021 that maybe we just have a couple bands. So Jared Minner, who's been a big partner of ours, let us use his trailer. So we would back his trailer up, and we still had all the picnic tables and stuff. And so we had like 4 or 5 bands that year. And then we decided, well, we'll see how it goes again another year. So in 2020, we still had Jared's trailer, and we had 12 bands that year. We added some, bag sets, that type of thing. So it's starting to get some traction. That was the first year that we added our Wednesday night concert series, that type of thing. So then last year, we partnered with Hanford, and Brad Toon and Tom Wise came, and they helped us build a stage. There were Brett Decker and Jenna Nordstrom from Central Bank, and we went out and we built the stage in a day, and decided that we really wanted to commit to bringing that just that community feeling, having a place to go. Everything's free. You don't ever have to buy a ticket to see a band, that type of thing. So last year we had 2 or 3 events that were kind of different. We brought in dueling pianos, and all of the money to request the songs went to the Geneseo Police Department Impact Program. And then not only do we have bands, but the community is able to rent that space for private events. So last year we had a wedding reception there, which was kind of cool to see. They brought in all their own stuff, and it's a place that you can use for a bags tournament for the boosters or anything like that. We've had a lot of class reunions that have came out there, and so that type of thing. So those are always options too. We also had the night out for in the fall with the pumpkins, and we showed a movie, and that was also another fundraiser for the cops and firefighter for Christmas. Last year we also did, every Wednesday night we had we kind of featured a nonprofit. They were able to kind of get up on stage and talk about their nonprofit and what it was about, and people could give donations, that type of thing. So that brings us to this year. So today on our Facebook page will be the new 2024 Central Bank Pavilion schedule for concerts this year. We have about 14 bands, and of course we're starting once again with the dueling pianos on June 14th. And that is once again the fundraiser for the Geneseo Police Department Impact Program. So if you go to our Facebook page, like our Facebook page, follow us, you'll be able to see that. We also have a Central Bank Pavilion Facebook page. So if you go out, like it, follow it, you'll be able to see all the updates on the schedule. Right now it's set, but that doesn't mean we won't add any more. So, yeah, we have some really good bands coming in, some local people, and then some different bands from what we've had in the past. So
It's a good lineup this year.
yeah,
And the Wednesday night thing is fun. Something, midweek to get
Yeah.
out and do during the nice weather, right?
yeah,
Of course, I'm looking at the schedule right now. What seems to be a very popular one is Lynn Allen, right, on
Yeah.
August 10th. That will be in coordination with the Spook the Loop 2 event, where Butch Patrick, a.k.a. Eddie Munster, will be coming back to Geneseo for the Cruise the Loop that day, which will transition into the concert and party down at the pavilion that night, right?
yep,
And
Yep.
Hanford is sponsoring that again.
Yep.
So thank you, Hanford, for doing that, and really you guys for. I mean, this is just, and this is all non-for-profit. I mean, this isn't something that Central Bank is doing to collect any revenue, right?
No.
This is all just as it really came out of COVID with the need to provide a space and continue that idea that this is going to be a community space. It's not a revenue generator for you guys.
right. Yeah, we never charge for anything. Even renting the space is free. It's for us, we just feel very fortunate to give back to the community and to kind of do it in a different kind of way. As a bank, sometimes we just think of giving money out for sponsorships or donations, that type of thing. And so we really want to be out in the community. So this is a different way to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I hate to make it sound like I keep plugging you guys, but I mean, that sounds like something you put on a poster for a business, but I mean, you guys are actually out there doing the work. You're not outsourcing it. I mean, you mentioned earlier, we walked down there when the stage is being built, and it's Brett Decker with a DeWalt drill hooked to his belt putting together the stage. Right?
Yeah. And again, had I known that, I probably would have been a little more careful as I was on that stage.
It is up
it's
to
well
code.
built. Yes.
It was inspected by
Yes.
Mr. Mills. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, we're out there the beginning of the summer. You'll see us out there. We're planting all the flowers. We're putting up all the lights. We're, doing as much as we can. We try to add something every year. This year, I think we might just be adding some more like family games or, kind of things that can be done during the concerts or just come out and eat your lunch outside and you can play bags or you can hopefully we're getting a big Connect 4. If I put it out there, we can get it, right? So, like those other yard games and that type of thing. So it's not only a space for, when we have scheduled bands, it's a space to go out on a Friday night with all your friends and grab dinner from all one of the restaurants and bring it over to the pavilion and sit and hang out and play those games. And so it's just a place to gather and for the community that we,
Well, there you go, and not to be to sound too rah-rah for Central Bank. Know a lot of people there. In just over the years, though, have been able to see how they and a lot of other businesses in the community and stuff too. But Central Bank really does step up insofar as doing just kind of all these things that probably most people have no idea is Central Bank. But we have either a nice event or a facility or what have you that they have been part of, and then certainly the Geneseo Foundation. I mean, that's has touched so many lives and has improved so many things in the community. And so hats off to Mr. Dedrick back in the day to have the foresight to put something like that in place, because I think somewhere he's probably smiling a little bit that those efforts continue to enhance and bless our community to this day. And then the Miller Foundation coming on board here recently, and it's kind of how it works sometimes, Brandon. And I'm sure you see that Tyler, as well, in that. Sometimes those good ideas encourage or plant a seed with somebody else to do something similar. And, there's a lot of things about, and not to put on my Geneseo hat, but, I can ramble on about Geneseo. But, it's a dynamic community, and it's, you go to some towns and every town kind of has its feel. But when you come to Geneseo, you know that there's just kind of a little something special there. And these would be two big parts of what makes Geneseo kind of special. So I'll stop rambling. Yeah. And is like Zach somehow hacking in here? I feel like we're having like a sports, some walk-up music or something playing on the background here in the studio.
Yeah, he's on the East Coast, but he might be listening today. I don't know. You can never trust him.
He's probably doing something with Zach. Yeah, I wouldn't put it past him. He could probably figure it out. So, So anyway, appreciate you both of you coming in this morning. Brandon, anything exciting on the things with the city that are upcoming?
Yeah, just wrapping up. A couple of reminders. Tomorrow is the Mindful Strides. This is the PD Impact Program in support of the Dementia Friendly Task Force 5K run and walk. This is at Richmond Hill Park. If you haven't signed up yet, April's going to be there. You can show up on site and sign up for the race, correct?
Yep. Registration starts at 7:30. So yeah, you can sign up for the race tomorrow morning, and yeah.
Even if you just want to walk, there's a 2-mile walk. You don't have to run a 5K.
There's a kids dash.
Kids dash. What time is that at?
8:30.
8:30. Okay, and then the main run is
9, I think.
9. Okay. Check the Facebook page.
Yeah.
PD
Come early.
Yeah. Do want to mention that the burn pile opens today. The first Friday it will be open. Also open tomorrow, Saturday. Did want to mention that the city announced and put an event post up on our Facebook page and website for the 4th of July Thrill on the Hill fireworks event. That will be on Thursday, July 4th this year. Got some great entertainment coming in, the Jason and John Experience and the band Sushi Roll out of the Chicago suburbs area will be coming in to perform for that event, and Crater Fireworks, which is a pretty popular fireworks vendor. I guess they're the ones, I hear a lot about the show in Mineral, Illinois that they put on. They will be doing our display this year, so we're looking forward to having them in. And that's really it for updates.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing those, Brandon. And I guess with that, we will pull the plug on yet another episode of Let's Talk Geneseo. I'm going to appreciate April and Tyler for coming in this morning. And Brandon, always good seeing you. No, we're kind of in the, as any student knows, kind of in April and May, not a lot of school holidays. It's kind of the end run till the end of the school year. So I think you pretty much have us every Friday, unless you have something that requires you to be out of town. And if you do, try to make it on a Friday.
Yeah, I think we're doing back-to-back shows here, wrapping up into May. So should be fun. Got some good guests coming on.
All right. Well, with that, we're going to wrap it up. Probably should do this again. If you have any questions or any topics or anything you'd like to see covered on Let's Talk Geneseo, it's best to get a hold of Brandon, and you can call him at City Hall or email Brandon at...
Yep, it's bmeglin at cityofgeneseo.com, BMAEGLIN at cityofgeneseo.com.
And I think this is our 23rd program?
I believe it is 23, number 23. Again, if you ever want to go back and listen to past episodes, we do kind of podcast this thing. Keith records it. The city YouTube channel, just search City of Geneseo on youtube.com, and you can go back and check out all the exciting old episodes.
There you go. There you go, yes. For those of you that feel so moved to do so.
Some of our top fans out there definitely go back.
There's some pearls in there, that's for sure. Yeah. All right, well, thank you very much for listening to Let's Talk Geneseo, and also for listening to WGRG 100.5 FM in Geneseo. Have a great Friday and a great weekend.